Hey guys, I'm here to talk to you about your forehand, and I think I have a way to make it better, okay? So, something you might not have heard before, but I'm going to talk about your contact point, but hold for a second, okay? So, when we know that we want to get to here on contact, right? The strings are forward. You know, if the ball's really high, we'll have a slight angle, but usually we want to be kind of right in here, right? So the two problems, getting to contact and contact point. So what I mean by that is I see a lot of players that are getting to contact point, leading with their edge of their racket and coming up at the ball. So for me, I would do a lot of this, and yeah, I can hit a pretty good spin ball like that, but when the ball is hit harder and harder, it becomes harder to time. So you'll see that the pros don't do that, okay? They actually go linearly to the ball as they hit it, okay? So the first thing I want you to do when you're practicing is try to get your hand level with the ball, okay? Now, if your grip is loose, your racket head should be slightly under your handle when you're loose. So if that's the case, your racket head will be behind underneath the ball slightly, but your hand will not. So I'm going to be here and I want to be level. Obviously I want to have the appropriate distance, but my hand is level. I'm not going to be so far under where I see a lot of players, they take the racket back here no matter what or wherever, but they're here and then they just go from there, and then the timing has to be perfect to do that kind of ball. And plus, you don't want that much spin because honestly, it takes a while to travel into the air to get to your opponent, and then your opponent has all the time in the world to hit that ball, right? So linearly to the ball for the contact point, okay? But the next one, the big one I want to talk about is how you're getting there with your grip, okay? So if you are a more advanced player with a big forehand, your strings are probably down here, and that allows you to get some whip to the ball, which is great. I think that's something I do, okay? But one thing that can happen to that is your strings, if you don't open your hand up to the ball as you're going forward, you will have a contact point at an angle. And when you do that, it can be really risky. It can become really tough to hit a strong ball because you're always hitting at an angle, right? And the other thing is you're not hitting smooth through the ball. So you got to get your hand out to be able to make contact with the ball right here, okay? So two ways of doing that. Focus on it, right? You have your maybe semi-Western grip, and you got to just make sure that your strings are kind of like forward. And to do it, I'm kind of stopping. Obviously, I'm missing here because I'm not swinging through the ball. I'm stopping, but I'm just trying to show you the hand needs to be here, right, on contact. So you can watch some video, and maybe you'll see, and you're like, maybe you're going like this too much, okay? And see how my hand isn't forward. I want to go here with my hand, so my strings are down, and then my hand is forward. My palm goes down to forward to the ball, okay? Now, if that's hard to do, just change your grip a little bit. So I hit with an Eastern grip. An Eastern grip, Roger Federer does.
Okay, so for the forehand, for those who play tennis, you'll want to use an Eastern grip, okay?
A lot of the good players, you can look at that all that up, but it's really easier, it's a lot easier to get the hand in position to make good contact with the ball, which is here. Because now my strings are not so far down when I take it back, because this is semi-Western, but now I can bring it to an Eastern grip, and now my hand can get to that position a lot easier. Okay, hit with same amount of spin, really, maybe a little less, right? But you're gonna have a much more swing that's fluid and through the ball, and that's going to allow you to make better contact and get better results on the forehand where it's not spraying everywhere. Okay, so let me recap. This is, first of all, make sure that you're linearly going to the ball. Okay, get your hand in position where the ball is going to be. The ball's high, hand high, okay? Ball's low, so that ball's high, and then that allows me to come up to that ball and hit it straight instead of doing a diagonal swing where I'm on my back foot, my strings are down, and I'm trying to get under the ball so much, where it's creating a lot of spin, but the contact has to be perfect, and you probably struggle with fast balls coming at you, okay? Second thing is, try to get your hand in this position. So down to forward, And if that's troubling, and it's really hard to do that, you'll see some videos, I'll show you some on the side there too, is then change to an Eastern grip. And the Eastern grip's going to allow that hand position a lot easier. You can still do the same thing, but now the hand position is a lot stronger. I can hit through the ball. You can tell the ball went through the court a lot better than rather than doing the racket down and then leading with the edge more and being like this where you're hitting the ball at an angle. Just doesn't, I mean, it didn't nearly go through the court as much, okay? So you're going to get control by linearly going through the ball, and also you're going to get more control by being here more rather than here more, here than here. And then you'll get a lot more power, obviously, too, because now you're hitting through the ball rather than part of the racket's going through the ball, right? You're going through it, and that's what the pros do to hit the ball so hard. All right, so it's your turn to try those tips out. I guarantee that forehand's going to be a lot better if it's going to take some time. And as always, guys, happy training.